Hey axisofaccents, it's been way too long. Alex. On my free time, I like to volunteer a lot. That's usually what I do. I have a scholarship that requires me to do 40 hours of community service a month, so that's usually what I have to do. Also, Converses, I have one pair, and they're quite honestly not my favorite shoes. My favorite shoes are called Simple Shoes. I have one right here. They're made from all sustainable materials. So this is like organic hemp. The rubber is made from bicycle inner tubes. The sole is made from car tires. Inside is bamboo to help make it strong. And organic cotton. Anyway, all recycled shoes. They're pretty awesome. They're called Simple Shoes. Steve, you better come to the UK because like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get here in the next like 5 years after this trip. And lastly, Sam. I have a whole video on deciding what I wanted to study. I was a chemistry major for 2 years. I just recently switched to religion. Just think about it and hopefully you'll make the right decision. I mean, you can watch my video, it's on my old channel. But yeah, that's my advice for you. Okay, so the next topic, gun control. I find this topic so much more interesting now than in the UK, where guns aren't exactly legal. Because in the States, like, guns are basically everywhere you go. Like, at Walmart, you can buy guns. Here's a picture. This is from peoplewalmart.com, which is a really funny website. You should check it out. But yeah, I mean, guns are pretty available. Even illegal guns that aren't registered, you can get for pretty cheap all over the country, just because guns are allowed and they're in our Constitution, Second Amendment, that, you know, the right to bear arms. Now, let's look back and see why it's in our Constitution. And I think that's because during the American Revolution, the soldiers had a lot of trouble getting guns to fight the British. And, well, it ended up, they wrote in the Constitution that, you know, people need guns so that they can defend themselves against their government, and their government is bad and they want to revolt. At least that's the way I've been taught why it's in the Constitution. And so I would argue that if we're allowed guns, we should also be allowed nuclear weapons and submarines if we can afford them, and basically any firearm we want, because if we really want to put up a defense against our government, then we should be able to have all the same weapons the government has. So basically, this doesn't make sense, and you're not going to give an ordinary civilian a nuclear weapon, right? So why would you give them a gun? In the UK, guns aren't really allowed. I mean, you have, like, police officers have guns, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this issue, because I've never really thought about it. Because you guys don't have guns here, your gun violence is, like, way, way lower than in the United States, where guns are available. I mean, in the United States, we have people who go into churches and start shooting people. People who go into schools and start shooting people. We have people go into the post office and start shooting people. It's everywhere. And I think that it's really important that, like, if guns were controlled more, then perhaps there would be less gun violence in the United States, like there is less gun violence in the UK. So, I don't know. I was thinking about it, and really, is it a right for us to have guns? Yes. But why? And I don't really see a really legitimate reason anymore for civilians to have guns. People argue that, you know, I'm going to go hunting, and so I need my gun to go hunting. And I understand that, and hunting is a big culture in the United States. But I think hunting guns are a lot more different than AK-47s or assault weapons, which are, or handguns even. All those things are in a different category than hunting guns. So if anything, we should just control the amount of assault weapons we have in the US. Okay, so what do you guys think? I guess if you're from the UK, you could say, like, whether you think you should have the right for guns, because I could see that. Like, if you honestly live in the UK and you're like, why don't we have guns? I want to have a gun. Then write in the comments. And then if you're from America, maybe you're really defensive and really want to have your guns, and you think that guns really contribute to a better society, then you can write that down. Or if you're American and say, why the hell do we have guns in the first place? So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it, and I kind of think it's an international perspective here, because I've never really talked about it until I came here, and one girl told me she'd never moved to America because guns are so available. Alright, well, that's all for me.